Hello, welcome to the channel Tarot Yogi. I'm Vinit and today we have another timeless pickacard reading on messages from Ma Baglamukhi. We will be channeling her energy because today is Baglamukhi Jayanti, and even before we get into today's topic, I do want to announce that I will be offering my tarot course in less than a month. So if you're a tarot beginner to an intermediate student, do join my tarot course. It's a month-long course and you will be learning everything from tarot, Kabbalah, astrology, your basics. If you don't know how to read tarot cards, if you are not able to put it together, come learn. You will definitely get your basics cleared. And if you can learn your basics in your tarot, you can read any tarot deck. So come learn. I know a lot of astrologers, tarot readers watch me. So, get your base right with me. I'm very, very happy to teach this. And I've taught this course so many times, so I feel super confident to teach you this course. I can even teach you this in my sleep at this point. So come learn. I'm really happy to teach this, and I don't want you guys messaging me after the course has started. The course starts on 15th, so enroll before the 15th. I would really appreciate that. I'm also offering my witchcraft course on 3rd July. I'm also offering my astrology course on 3rd of October, which will be another 3-month course, which is very, very intensive. So if you're interested in learning either or all the arts from me, send me an email or hit me up on my Instagram. You can do the same if you want a personal reading from me. And please do like the video for me, share, subscribe, comment. Please hype the video for me 3 times. It really makes a huge difference. And thank you so much for all the love, all the lovely, sweet comments. I feel super grateful that I get to share my spiritual journey with you guys. So thank you so much for being a part of it. And now coming to the topic on Ma Baglamukhi. And, she's connected to the color yellow. And just last year, by the end of November, I was seeing a lot of yellow and I was wondering why. And now I know. I was with my best friend a few days ago and she was mentioning something about Ma Baglamukhi to me, and I was speaking to another friend and then she was also mentioning Ma Baglamukhi's Jayanti. Jayanti means birthday. It's her birthday today. So and it clicked, that, she's always been present with me even if I wasn't always taking notice. And I do think it is my personal job to, make people aware of as many goddesses that they can be aware of. And Ma Baglamukhi is a very special form of the goddess because she's connected to the energy of Mangal, which is Mars, the planet Mars. So you can pray to her on a Tuesday, or you can pray to her today definitely because it's her day. And her root Bij mantra is Hleem, H-L-E-E-M. So you can do Hleem, Hleem, Hleem as a Bij mantra. It's a very powerful mantra to connect to her energy, and she definitely helps you get over your enemies. She has the ability to stun the enemies. But we need to understand that this is a tantric goddess. She's very fierce in her workings. And the first stunning of the mind is our own mind. Our biggest enemy is ourselves. So doing the mantra, if you would like to, first you will stun your own mind. And then can you stun, the opposition and the enemies. So connect to the energy of Ma Baglamukhi today. It is really her day, and goddess just manifests in so many different ways, and we realize that she's always with us, even if it is through a color or if it is through a cat. So even if you're going through something very, very intense and something very, very difficult, know that there is a form of goddess always working with you, and she is your mother. She will take care of you. And I have so many of my clients and students coming to me and telling me that they went to kalimaa, or they started going to the temple, or they started going to the Tara Peeth or Kamakhya, or they visited these places. I get so much joy, to connect people that way. So definitely, today is the day. Do connect to her energy because she will really, really bless you. And having gone on a little, tangent, coming back for the Baglamukhi messages, we have 3 piles to choose from. Pile number 1, we have our Ethereal Blooms Tarot. Pile number 2, we have our Tabula Mundi Tarot, and pile number 3 we have the Splendor Solis Tarot. So take a minute, see what pile is being called to you intuitively. The description box below will have the timestamp for your pile. And again, remember, these are general readings. Take what resonates, leave the rest. And if you like my style of reading, do like the video, share, subscribe, comment. Please hype the video for me 3 times. If you're interested in learning tarot, witchcraft, astrology, if you want a personal reading, hit me up, and I'll see you guys in your reading. Thank you. Hello, pile number 1. If you chose the Ethereal Blooms Tarot, this is your reading on your messages from Ma Baglamukhi. And even before we begin today's reading, I do want to announce that I will be offering my tarot course in a few weeks starting on 15th May. So if you're a tarot beginner to an intermediate student and you really want to clarify your tarot doubts, do sign up. I don't want you guys messaging me after the course starts that you want to join. So do join now that the course is beginning on the 15th of May. I'm offering my witchcraft course on 3rd of July and my astrology course on 3rd of October. So if you're interested in learning either or all the arts from me, send me an email or hit me up on my Instagram to get more details. You can do the same if you want a personal reading from me, and I will very happily read your birth chart as a part of the personal reading. And please do like the video for me, share, subscribe, comment. Please hype the video for me 3 times. It really makes a huge difference. And thank you so much for all the love, all the lovely sweet comments. Thank you so much for your support. I feel super grateful that I get to continue to do my spiritual work and share my journey with you guys. So thank you so much for being a part of it. And now let's begin today's reading on messages from Ma Baglamukhi on Baglamukhi Jayanti. Okay, pile number 1, we have the Wheel of Fortune, the Page of Wands, and the 6 of Swords. I do think you are experiencing a rite of passage. And by a rite of passage, what I mean is you're going through a transitional phase in your life and things are very much up in the air. You do not know what is what, and there are a lot of changes that you're experiencing, and maybe the lady luck has been down on you, but I do see a time where even the things that were out of your control, they will start going in your favor. But you're almost at the last leg of things, and what Ma is giving you is the strength to keep pushing forward and even to look at new horizons. There are new horizons that you can go on right now that will lead you to a lot of happiness. And I would say 6 months from whenever you're watching this reading, all my readings are timeless, so 6 months from whenever you see this message, your life is going to be completely different, and all the painful changes and experiences that you're having right now, you know, they will be worthwhile. And what I'm seeing in my mind's eye is a refugee, you know, who has been banished from his own land, and you know, you're like walking in the desert and things are not what they seem. But you soon will come out of exile, and I do think maybe you have been cut out from certain places, certain people in your life, but that is for the better, even if it doesn't feel like that. So, you know, feel your feelings. If you want to cry, cry it out, you know, grieve it out. Do not let your feelings take hold of you, but keep it moving, because you are on a journey and things are not always going to be so up in the air for you. You're meant to have stability, you're meant to have happiness, and I do think you're being redirected to a better place for yourself, something better than you could have even imagined. You know, and yes, you know, we think what we think is the best for us, but you know, it is up to the goddess, it's up to Ma to decide what is really good for us, right? Even I, if I think, you know, I love pomegranates, you know, but maybe, you know, maybe there's a purple pomegranate that is for me, right? So you never know what is really the best thing for you, even if you like something, right? Pile number 1. And you know, since I said pomegranates, you know, pomegranates is a very witchy fruit, and all my students know that, you know, we consume pomegranates very ritualistically, because our pomegranates have a lot of hidden powers, and maybe you need to eat some pomegranates to experience what I'm talking about. Pile number 1. And I'll just leave it to that. I'm not going to explain why you should eat them. I just think you should eat them and see the magic unfold in your own life. King of Cups, King of Wands, and 3 of Cups. I think you're being taken back to a nostalgia of things. You know, I do think the worst is over for you, and you're meant to be a leader. You are a natural born leader. That's just who you are. Pile number 1. And with the King of Wands, I feel you know how to run the show regardless of everything being chaotic and things not going your way. You know how to, you know, take the leash and run the show. You know, you call the shots. So I also see that you're very lonely, and I do see like-minded friends coming towards you. Friends that will actually support you and give you the love that you need. You know, not people who have gotten in the way, not people who have hurt you, but actual friends and actual people who love you are going to come into your life and be with you. Pile number 1. So I see 2 people. That is the maximum you can do. I don't think you're meant to have 10,000 friends. Pile number 1. You're not here for the social life. You're here for the creative life. And the more intelligent you are and the more creativity you show in your work, I think the better things will get for you. And you run the show, I don't even think you're meant to work under someone. Even if you're working under someone, pile number one, I see you having a business of your own, because it doesn't matter if you're male, female, anything in the middle. We have the King of Wands. You are the King of Wands. And I often say that this is not my favorite card in the tarot, because I used to get this card every day before I started my channel, and I used to detest this card. I used to be really scared of the King of Wands, because I was like, I can't take so much responsibility. But I was really undermining myself then, and it is the best thing that I had to do for myself. And I feel you are in that same space, pile number one, where you have to be the King of Wands and run the show regardless of what is going on. Even if there's chaos behind the scenes, you are the star. You are the star, and you twinkle and you shine, and you sparkle and run the show over here and make a lot of money too, and have joy with it. So the more you come back to your simplicity, I think the more you ease out right now, the better you will be in a position to find something better for yourself. And I do think you are on a journey where you're being redirected to where you need to be right now. Page of Cups and the Seven of Wands, and I was getting Page of Cups energy. You have to go back to your childlike wonder. You have to go back to who you used to be when you were younger. That is what is needed over here at your end. Just the simple joy and the wonder of things, the simplicity of it all. That's what you need to go back to enjoying. And I know you're very cornered from every angle. You do not feel you can trust anyone, and I don't think you should be trusting people right now anyway. I think you're better off alone, and hold your ground, because even if you have 6 people attacking you, pile number one, you have the vantage point. 7 of Wands. Hold your ground. Even if it's lonely at the top, at least you are at the top. If you're crying, at least you're crying in Chanel, right? So the grief will go. It's only momentarily, and even enjoy that. My HOD of my Buddhist department once told me, to even enjoy the sadness. And I'm a big sadness enjoyer. I love listening to Lana, so you get the vibe. But she told me, just observe your sadness. When you wake up, even if your hair is a mess, just observe it. Observe how you are when you're sad, when you do almost nothing, and make that a meditation. And she was so right, looking back, because I did that, and I was able to extract the pearls from the depth of my own self. And you need to do the same over here, because there are a lot of hidden gems and hidden pearls deep in your own ocean, in your own subconscious. And the more you slow down, and the more you connect with the simplicity and the joy of simple things, and even if there's some melancholy, maybe enjoy it, and you see the difference it makes, and you realize that even the sadness is not something that we need to pop pills for. It is a part of our everyday existence, and life would be very boring if we did not even have the sad emotions, right? It's reminding me of that Lana song called Beautiful. What does she say? If someone had asked Picasso not to be sad, never knew the man he was or the man he'd become, something along those lines, there would be no blue period. So beauty can come out of sadness, and I'm a big believer in that, pile number one. So see what you can create from your own abyss right now, and listen to that song Beautiful by Lana Del Rey. It is a really beautiful song. It is on the Blue Banisters album. It is a very sad album, but it is one of my favorite albums. So you could be someone who enjoys Blue Banisters like me, so enjoy that. And May is coming up anyway, so it's a very Blue Banister vibe. And I have realized this, and it's just an observation I've made, and I think it's very, very true, that things get really bad in summer. Even though I don't know, the West has this very glorified version of the summer, and they really symbolize it in this escapist sort of a way. But historically, only bad things have happened during summer. And regardless to say, even right now, what we see happening in the world, and wars, all those things, it's not just wars. Even the spirits of the land, spirits of the underworld, they awaken because the earth heats up, so the spirits rise. So there's a lot of crime in the summertime as well. So it's not a fun time that people usually make it out to be. And I know I'm going on rambling off about summer, but I do think you are having a bit of summertime sadness, pile number one, and take it for the season that it is, and you're not going crazy. Things are a little heavy, so understand that it is just a season. It is not here to stay, and you will weather the season and you will make it through, and you will come out even stronger. And there are many more horrible summers for you to experience, in the future, I'm sure, but it'll only make you more tenacious. So give yourself some time off, as much as time you need, but slow down as much as only you need to, because I do see a lot of success. Yeah, King of Pentacles, you are the boss. You have money to be made, I'm hearing money on my mind, so rightfully so. The only thing you should be thinking about right now is how can you get your money up, right, in this recession. So work on it. Pile number one. Yeah, 10 of Swords, the worst is over, and the sun also rises on those who fail the call, right? So there's always a light, there's always a light, and there's always a way out. Yeah, Judgment, the worst is over, and you're hearing a calling right now, and only few people can hear the calling, and out of that, even very few people answer to the calling. So will you answer to this calling? You're being led to your own happiness. You're being led to true joy, true bliss, true peace. Pile number one. And you will be able to cultivate that for yourself wherever you are on earth. You will be able to make heaven wherever you go. And I was just seeing, like an entity walking, and there are just flowers growing from where the entity is walking. So yeah, 9 of Pentacles. It's like the trail of flowers that I was seeing. You're here to make everything bloom, right? Summer is not all bad, Flowers do take bloom in the summer. And the heat gives way to life, and even over here, no matter how horrendous summer is, it's like 40 degrees, but eventually we do get the monsoon, and then people are drowning, but that's another thing. But there is a relief from the summer, right? So it's not all supposed to be dry and sad and angsty and full of evil spirits. You decide how your summer should be over here, and you make the rules, because you make the money. But number one, it's as simple, So you're meant to have this big role to play in your life, for sure. Yeah, the High Priestess. You need to connect to your intuition. You need to go inwards. You need to spend time alone and ask yourself, what do you truly want? What do you truly want? Ask yourself that, and let the answer come up slowly. It doesn't have to come up quickly. Observe it, just the way you observe your hair, your sadness. Just observe it and just see what comes out of it for you, and you will get an answer, and then you know what you have to create on earth. And don't be easily upset, because there are more things for you to achieve, And oh, here I have this is my Kali Yantra pendant. So you can maybe get one for yourself. I'd gotten this from Amazon when I was really working and praying to kalimaa and doing my mantras. So I've kept it in my Kali deck. So we'll, get some answers for you from the Kali deck. We got Mantra Shakti and Kali Yantra. Isn't that funny? I was just telling you about the mantras that I used to do. So maybe you can do the Baglamukhi Yantra, and maybe you can do the Baglamukhi Bij mantra, which is Hleem, HLEEM. That would be a good mantra for you to do. And we got mantra and we got yantra for you. So you could have a strong Venus. Even if your Venus is afflicted, it is very, very strong, pile number one. Even if it is at a lower degree where it doesn't really do well, you need to get into procedural magic. You need to get into ritualistic magic, tantric witchcraft. You need to get deeper into those kind of practices, and trust me, the goddess Ma will help you. She will come in and save the day for you if you do your mantra practice and you do certain procedures that you need to do of your yantras. So these are the yantras. This is a Kali yantra, and you can even get the Kali yantra in this form that I have over here. This is, I think this is in copper. It is oxidizing, but here we have a Kali yantra. So maybe you can get something and wear this around your neck. That would really help you. And I'm telling you, if you're having money problems, if you're having any problems, if you want more money, if you want more happiness, even the kind of person you want to manifest, get to doing some get to doing some spells for yourself, and you will be aided and you will be guided. And if you feel you have a lot of enemies, people going against you, don't worry, you're only going to expand from here. There's a lot of expansion and growth for you. Pile number 1. Yeah, that's all I have. Again, it's a general reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest. If you like my style of reading, do like the video, share, subscribe, comment. Please hype the video for me 3 times. If you're interested in learning tarot, witchcraft, astrology, if you're interested in getting a personal reading, hit me up, and I'll see you guys in your next reading. Thank you. Hello, pile number 2. If you chose the Tabula Mundi Tarot, this is your reading on messages from Baglamukhi on the occasion of the Baglamukhi Jayanti. And even before we begin today's reading, I do want to announce that I will be offering my tarot course in just a few weeks. So if you're a beginner to an intermediate tarot student, come learn. This is the best course there is for you to learn, and I feel very confident to teach this. And we will be learning Kabbalah, astrology, tarot, everything in the tarot course. So come learn. It's the best course there is to learn. And if you want to learn witchcraft too, that will be offered on 3rd of July, and my astrology course on 3rd of October. So hit me up on my Instagram, on my email if you want to join my courses, or if you want a personal reading too. I will very happily read your birth chart as a part of the personal reading. And please do like the video for me, share, subscribe, comment. Please hype the video for me 3 times. It really makes a huge difference. And thank you so much for all the love, all the lovely sweet comments. I feel super grateful that I get to share my journey with you guys. And thank you so much for all the love, all the lovely sweet comments. And now let's begin this reading on messages from Baglamukhi. Two of Swords and Knight of Discs. Indecisiveness. A lot of it. What are we so indecisive about? By number 2. Let's see. Decans of Gemini and Decans of Sagittarius. So Ardra and Mula, that's what I'm getting. You could have prominent Ardra and Mula placements. But Ardra is storm and Mula is complete destruction at the root. Pile number 2, you're like a camel. In the best way possible. And I'm getting the High Priestess card. And trust me, that's a compliment, because the Hebrew letter for the High Priestess is Gimel, which means camel. And the reason the High Priestess is associated with the camel, because she can traverse the abyss just the way, a camel traverses the desert with the water on his back, right? So you're much like a camel. You can handle long droughts. You can handle extreme seasons in your own life. And I think a bad season has just ended for you. I think the worst season has just ended, and I think you also could be like a fixed sign: Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, Aquarius, prominent, because you're very rigid in your ways, and you're very fixed, and you like a certain kind of comfort. So it's not easy for you to push things away or for you to embrace change. But you know your old life is over, and you're better off doing what you do anyway. And I'm seeing a lot of work. I think a lot of rigorous work, because Knight of Discs, come back to the basics, come back to the things that you love to do. And I think you are a very routine oriented person. I think you have strong Virgo 6th house placements, no doubt. You could have a stellium. I'm seeing even a Venus in the 6th house for you. in the D1 or the D9. So there is a lot of this Venus in Virgo, Venus in the 6th house energy. So the more you stabilize yourself, the more you routine yourself with healthy habits. It's not just a routine. You can have a bad routine. You can have a routine full of bad habits. Like, we all have a bad routine when we are all younger, right? And then we grow up, and then we have to start taking care of our health a little more. So those kind of things are that you can control and that you must control. So even if you feel like crashing out, this is not the time. You are at a higher spiritual level, and there's a certain amount of spiritual caliber expected out of you. So you cannot crash out like most people, and I do think there's a lot of success ahead of you than you already have. I do think you have a lot of success, but the success has come because of consistent hard work that you have done. Knight of Discs, you have done this work. You have been consistent. You have slowly tended to your garden, while others, most of your friends or people in your life, have been inconsistent and they've been all over the place, but you have done the work. That's why you are reaping the rewards that maybe they're not. So this is not your time to get off the roller coaster. Maintain your pace and maintain where you are at your own speed consistently. And the more you show up and do your work consistently, trust me, it's not that complicated. So many readings I speak to so many people, and everyone thinks that their problems are really huge, but and they are, but the solutions always are practical things that you can do at the end of the day, and things that you can control, like the kind of food you eat, how much you choose to sleep, how much work are you doing, how much time are you giving to yourself, and how many healthy routine habits are you doing consistently over a long period of time, right? You can only get good at sports, or you can only get good at like singing or music or ballet after like decades of practice, right? Even tarot, like I just feel like I barely know anything. I know my basics and I can read tarot, but I feel I have a long way to go. I have more, at least 5 decades, 6 decades worth of work to do. And that's what I'm saying, Palamba, to you understand that you have long decades worth of work to do. And don't get overwhelmed. What I do is, even if I have 100 things to do in a day, I tell myself that, okay, this is only one task that I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it to my best abilities, and then I get it done, and then I do my next task and do my next task with the same mentality, and you'd be surprised how productive you can be. So being an introvert, being lazy, all these are just excuses. We all have an introvert side, and we all have an extrovert side, and we all have an active side and a lazy side. We're all not that different. And I think the more you realize that, and the more you just come back to the basics and the things that you can control, Palamba, to trust me, you will not be indecisive, because even you not making a decision right now is you making a decision. And this is not really working for you, right? The way you've been living has not been working. So why not do something a little differently? And that is what you're being offered by Ma, by Goddess. 7 of Cups, too much debauchery. You're keeping yourself stuck in really, really bad situations when there's a brand new future on the horizon for you, and this is the future that you deserve. What you accept is what you get. So if you choose to not accept your fate to be this, it can be something completely majestic, something completely divine. So don't indulge in your debauchery. 7 of Cups, Venus in Scorpio. And again, this is a Venus in the 8th house or Venus in Scorpio. This is again a debilitated Venus, because you can lose yourself in the material pleasures, right? You can lose yourself in love. And love can be something that transforms you the most, right? And it is the Venusian things that we hold on to our heart, right? The art that we watched, or the art that we saw, or a movie that we saw, or a song that we heard, or a beautiful piece of music that we heard, or a painting that we saw, right? Those are the things that leave an impression on us, and we think about it so deeply for a long period of time. Or our relationships, right? Our friendships, our love relationships, our family bonds, right? Where our feelings are involved, because those are very Venusian things. right? When our heart breaks, those are the things that are closest to life and death. And you're getting these experiences that are so close to life and death at such extremes over and over again for you to realize certain things that cannot be verbalized so easily, Pailamba. And you're here to realize the nature of reality so you can be free of it. So you can be free of the debauchery that, we tend to keep ourselves in. Our mind, just the way our mind works, right? It is here to create chaos for us in a way until we learn to manage it. And the only way to manage the mind is through the body. There is no other way to manage the mind, is there? There isn't. So the basics and the simplicity, Ace of Swords. You think that there is some big solution, that there is some big god up in the sky, and there probably is, but the solution is not that. The solution is here, and it is within you, and it is the things that you do. And I got the Ace of Swords, and this is an extra card from another deck, but we'll still take it. And you see how that clarity is coming. And we had gotten the Two of Swords, and now we got the Ace of Swords. So you know the truth already. You're very, very divine. You're very, very intuitive. Definitely speaking to a witch. Definitely speaking to a psychic. A magician. So stop kidding yourself. You are getting in the way of your own success. And the only regret you'll have later is, I should have done this sooner. Why did I wait so much? Yeah, Ace of Cups, love yourself. There's a lot of love that needs to pour out of you. And connect to the moon cycles, because the moon is very prominent in this card. And even today, even last night, when I was out and I was just seeing the moon rise, and it was so close to Earth, it just felt like I could bite it, So the moon is very close to the Earth these days, I feel. And you need to tap into the moon energy. And if you do not know how to do Tantra, you do not know how to do witchcraft, connect to the moon. Moon, ask the moon to guide you. Ask the moon to be your teacher. That's what I did when I began my journey. There's a whole witch tradition of making moon your mother, right? Making moon your teacher and making moon your guide, and working with the moon cycles and understanding the nuance of the moon cycles and your own emotions, and understanding your own cyclical nature, that you cannot always be, a superstar on stage on 100% energy. You will have your days where you will want to be at your 50% capacity, and that is also okay. So understand those cycles, understand who you are and where you fall. Those are very, very important things. Baglamukhi. We got the Prince of Wands. So you need the pressure. You need things to be a little off. You need to walk into the fire. You could even have a Rahu 6th house or Rahu in Virgo. And people think Rahu 6th house, yes, it will destroy your enemies, but it will destroy you if you are being your own enemy. And you have the ability to walk through fire, and you see this beautiful chariot being drawn by the lion in the fire. That's what you need to be. I think you are a little shy, you are a little not very confident, so we need to get your confidence up. And the only way to deal with that is, get your Manipura chakra strong, do abs, strengthen your core. The more strong your core is, the more you'll be able to roar like the lion that you are. I think there are a lot of things that you have to walk away from. And I don't even have to go on a stretch. I think you know what you have to walk away from, what you have to kick out of your life. So don't waste your time, and honestly get out of the way of your own blessings. Baglamukhi, I think that's what the goddess is trying to tell you. That is what Ma is trying to tell you, that you've been just so deep in your cycles. And I get it, we all get stuck from time to time, no one is immune from it, not even me, we all go through it. But the more you acknowledge it and the more honest you are with yourself, the easier it becomes, and you realize that it does not actually have power over you, right? So in a way, you're learning your true strength. You could be going through your Rahu Mahadasha, Antardasha, Pratyanta Dasha, and if you think you know yourself, you don't. You will only know who you are after your Rahu period ends. And for a lot of us, it's 18 years, We got Matangi and we got Shri Bala. And Matangi is the goddess of spoken word. She's the tantric form of Ma Saraswati, who rules over all the arts. So something about spoken word here, your words will make you money. Your words are very hypnotic, they're very enchanting. And even if you're having problems with your speech, work with Ma Matangi, do her mantra. A simple Matangi mantra I can give you is Kamini Ranjini Swaha. Kamini Ranjini Swaha. You can just do this Kamini Ranjini Swaha. Connect to her. And she's I think related to the northeast direction or the east direction. It's either or, I'm not sure. Do check that. And wear green and connect to her energy. I think Ma Matangi is really, really coming to you. If you see a lot of parrots, I see parrots every morning, and they're usually two couples, and they're very busy doing what couples do. So even if you're worried about love, know that true love is coming for you. Even if you're being asked to wait, it'll come to you. It'll be yours. It is yours to have. By number 2, everything, whatever you desire. So take this energy seriously and make things happen, and realize your duality. I think you're experiencing these extremes because you're supposed to be a saint and you're supposed to be a sinner. That is just what I'm getting in my mind. I'm seeing two extremes, and these extremes are supposed to work together because we're made of light as much as we're made of our darkness. And the more you tap into both of them, the easier it will be for you to balance them both. So some high-level initiations, and what you speak will happen. By number 2, your speech is really, really powerful right now. So be really careful what comes out of your mouth. And if you're being resurrected, if everything is being destroyed, if everything has been taken away, if you're being asked to walk away from everything, walk away. Because there is something completely better, something brand new that you can't even imagine waiting for you. Something better than you could even imagine, because if we think we know what is best for us, we don't. Yes, we might think what is best for us from our known knowledge, but there are things beyond our knowledge too, right? Even if we are psychics, even if we are witches, even if we are high-level magicians, right? By number 2. So please remember this and stay humble on your spiritual path, because that will take you really, really far. Yeah, that's all I have. Again, it's a general reading. Take what resonates, see the rest of you. Like my style of reading, do like the video, share, subscribe, comment. Please hype the video for me 3 times. If you're interested in learning tarot, witchcraft, astrology, send me an email, hit me up on my Instagram. You can do the same if you want a personal reading. I'll read your birth chart, and I'll see you guys in your next reading. Thank you. Hello, pile number 3. If you chose the Splendor Solace Tarot, this is your reading on messages from Ma Baglamukhi. And even before we begin today's reading, I do want to announce that I will be offering my tarot course in less than a month, in a few weeks, starting 15th of May. So if you're interested in learning tarot, if you're a beginner to an intermediate student, you want to clear your tarot doubts, you have tarot cards, you don't know how to read, you don't know how to put it together, come learn. This is the best course out there for tarot right now, and I'm very, very happy to teach. I've taught this course many, many times, so I feel super confident that I can teach you this course even in my sleep. So come learn tarot, come get your basics cleared, come learn your Kabbalah, your astrology. You will be learning a lot. I will not just teach you the 78 card meanings and send you home. No, we will be diving deep into the esoterics of it all. I'm also offering my witchcraft course, which starts on 3rd July, and my astrology course, which is another comprehensive course, starting on 3rd of October, which will be enough for another 3 months. So if you're interested in learning either or all the arts from me, send me an email or hit me up on my Instagram to get more details. You can do the same if you want a personal reading from me. I will very happily read your birth chart as a part of the personal reading. And please do like the video for me, share, subscribe, comment. Please have the video for me 3 times. It really makes a huge difference. And thank you so much for all the love, all the lovely, sweet comments. I feel super grateful that I get to continue to do this work and share my spiritual journey with you guys. So thank you so much for being a part of it. And now let's begin today's reading on messages from Ma Baglamukhi for you. We got the Emperor. Emperor is Aries energy. Aries is ruled by Mars. It's a zodiacal trump. And Ma Baglamukhi, she is the commander-in-chief of the celestial armies of Ma. So you're very much being asked to be in your masculine energy. Even if you are someone who loves to be in their feminine energy, right now you have to strengthen your Mars. And the best way to strengthen your Mars is to work out every day, is to, believe it or not, like sweat. Pile number 3. So the more you sweat, the better you will strengthen your Mars. So you're here for the hustle, you're here for the toil, you're here to sweat it out, even in the summer. And that's what you need to do. You need to show a lot of leadership. You need to take the charge and you need to make things happen, because that's what you are. You need to get to the goal, as you can see on the cards. So, and this is a mountain. This is about your strength. This is about you showing your valor, you showing your courage, you taking charge, and you making things happen the way you need it to happen. Even if there are problems in the way, they're just challenges and an opportunity for you to show your power and to show people and all the ops that who's truly the best. Wow, we got the sun. You got the emperor and the sun, two majors back to back. And sun is enlightenment in the tarot. So you're here for your own personal enlightenment, your own personal gnosis, right? Your own personal gnosis, that is really, really important. Your subjective liberation from your matrix. That's what you're here to do. And that's why you need to show this leadership. And let's not forget, emperor, even the kings of the olden days, the reason they had the right to rule apparently was because they said that they had the divine right. The pharaohs were much like the gods in the heavens. So you have the divine right to rule, so you can get to your enlightenment. Right? It's a beautiful message. And Ma Goddess, she's helping you. She's helping you on your path to reach the sun, to reach true happiness, to reach the true gold. Right? It makes sense why I said gold in your reading. We got the sun card. And this is a very beautifully gold foiled deck. So understand that, you're here to create the gold. And I watched a very interesting video yesterday, and it said that the alchemists weren't wrong to say that, the lead converts to gold. It does. It's just for the quantity, it's not worth it, the whole alchemical process. But again, he was speaking from a scientific point of view, but we know from the spiritual point of view that the laborious, intensive, ritualistic process of converting lead into gold has a lot of significance, and it's not the byproducts that we are after, but the very process itself that changes us and transforms us. Right? The sun is within us, the gold is within us, and that is what you're here to realize. And you have that power to tap into, right? You can tap into the energy of the sun, your own solar plexus, right? I was just telling pile number 2 that they need to strengthen their core. Your core is where, you get your ego from. That is the seat of your ego. And we do need an ego. We do need an ego in the material world. We need an ego in the material world, but we do not need it in the spiritual context, right? We need to destroy it. And we have to find a balance of having, being decapitated in the spiritual context, but having an ego in the material world. And finding that balance. That is really, really important for you. Pile number 3. You could even have Leo or prominent in your chart. You could even be a Leo rising in your Navamsha chart. Pile number 2. Pile number 3. Since I said that, I might have some messages in pile number 2 as well. And very interesting, the alchemy of the sun is called the child's play. Isn't that a very, very, very interesting name? So at the end of the day, you need to understand that nothing is that serious, and you have to take it as child's play. Even the deep alchemical work, right? Even the deep alchemical procedures that you're doing on yourself, spiritually, they have to be done with joy. And if we do it properly, the joy will arise, right? If we do it consistently, the joy will come. The joy is the byproduct, right? Again, byproducts, they just arise naturally. Even if it's not something that we are, actively seeking out after. And whenever you try to actively seek out anything, whether it's happiness, whether it's love, you usually fall on your face, right? I'm sure you're mature enough to realize that, pile number 3. So I think you're being asked to redirect your energy, because whatever you focus on will magnify right now. You are the king, you are the emperor. You are sitting on the driver's seat. You call the shots. And you decide what today is going to be, what next minute is going to be, what tomorrow is going to be. And you have that much power. And that's what you need to realize about yourself. File number 3. We got the moon card. Sun and the moon. And we got 3 majors. You're going through major stuff. I think you've been going through major stuff since you were born, pile number 3, because you are an old soul. And I know it sounds very glamorous and glittery, but it's not. Being an old soul is, you're just being thrashed again and again. But the thrashing has a purpose and it has a reason, because you're being awakened to something deeper, something more real than you've ever experienced before, right? And even if things are not very, very clear right now, they will be. Eclipse, yeah, you're leaving behind something and getting something new. And what has been missing from your life is love for yourself. You've been very much in the tension of life, but The tension of life is exactly where we exist, right? The rest of the universe is just vacuum, right? So the tension of life is where we exist with all our pain, but there is beauty in it, and that's what you're here to realize. And the more self-love you show right now, the more confident you are. You might even need to wear a lot of yellow, and I might even suggest wear a little gold. It will really help you tap into the energy of the sun, and this is the year of the sun, right? So you generate the joy for yourself. The sun generates its own light, the moon doesn't, right? And the sun and the moon being together, if you are alone, and if you feel you've been very lonely, if you've been just going through bad relationships after bad relationships, pile number 3, I want you to know that all of that was just you burning your karma, right? And when we burn enough karma, we do reach a point where we do actually meet someone who will also pour into us, right? You will meet someone who will love you. So don't worry. There is someone made just for you. There is a moon just for your sun. And as I'm saying that, we have a cat that is just entering. She's literally just crossing a path. So, Goddess is with you always. And, whenever I see cats, oh, she's literally coming here. She can sense me. She can sense me during the reading. She's like right here. Hi. I think she's a little camera shy, but, the Goddess is with you at all times. Even if you're going through these very intense spiritual changes. So please know this in your heart, and whenever I see a cat, I feel so relieved, even if I'm going through something horrible. As long as I see a cat, I know I will be okay. So, Goddess manifests in different forms, especially in cat forms and feline forms, and goddesses have always had an association to cats and felines of different natures. So you definitely have a cat connection. You could even have a cat over here and, tap into that feline energy, because cats are the most independent. They're the most royal. They're the most regal, right? No one is as much of a boss as a cat. And that's what you need to be. So tap into that regal feline energy. I'm also seeing a cat feline tattoo, and honestly, that is one tattoo that is on my bucket list as well. I might just get it very, very soon. Sooner than I think I will get it. But, get into that feline energy atavistically, and trust me, that'll protect you and that'll save you and that'll give you that extra fire that you need. I'm also seeing the tiger for you, and again, tiger is a very powerful feline. So even if you are a solitary, powerful creature, know that you are king, right, Emperor? And the more self-love you show right now, do sweet things for yourself, do something amazing for yourself. Make every Friday a ritual for yourself. And very advisable to go to a goddess temple, go to any temple of Ma on a Friday, and go every Friday. This will really, really help you with your karma. And if you have a complicated Venus too, it will really, really help you with that. Because what you're being taught here is self-love. And I know a lot of people complain to me, how much more do I love myself? And if you're saying that, you're clearly not loving yourself enough, right? Pile number 3. So more self-love. And if you've not gotten the basic things, pile number 3, and I'm not like gaslighting you, but you're meant for more. Trust me, you're meant for more. If you missed those basic benchmarks of having a child, having a wife, having kids, having a husband, all that stuff, you will have those things. Maybe it'll happen to you at a later age, but it will happen. But clearly you're meant to have more. Maybe you need to have your own career right now. And in establishing that, in establishing yourself materially, you're also establishing yourself spiritually. People think being spiritual means you're just completely detached and you don't care about the world. No, you have to take care of your body. You have to take care of your mind. You have to take care of the way you look. Your money has to be good. Because only when you do well materially, you can even go up the spiritual ladder. Because if your basic needs are not met, you will not be able to survive any of the spiritual thrashings. So if you have the time, go back and correct certain things, because you will be able to correct it and move forward. There's a lot of success that you can't even imagine for yourself. You're King of Swords. Be strategic, and yellow is your color. Maybe yellow is your power color right now. Tap into it, maybe wear some yellow. It will really, really help you channel this energy. And Ma Baglamukhi's energy is yellow. So tap into it. It'll really, really bless you and help you and protect you right now. And I'm telling you, you have so much protection. Birds, cats, whatever you see, they're guiding you, they're showing you the way, and they're giving you the strategy that you need. So, yeah, Two of Swords, what are you so stuck about? There's nothing to be stuck about. By number 3, the decisions are made, and you know what needs to be done. Maybe all you have to do is get quiet enough and go inwards and, let the answer come up, and you will know exactly what needs to be done. A lot of y'all just need to meditate. Will you ask the Kali Oracle if there's any other message for you? We got Shodashi, and this is the 16-year-old version of Ma Lalita Tripura Sundari. So, and she's red with desire. You see how red she is with desire. This is who you need to be right now. Channel your desires. Your desires are very, very divine. I know most Eastern traditions say desires are evil, be sterile, but there is also Shakta Tantra, right? There is also the current of the goddess, and maybe that's what you need to follow. So you'll be thrown into the pleasures and the pains and the sufferings and the joys of the world. You'll taste gold and you'll taste lead at the same time, but you'll realize that they're both not opposites, but a part of each other. They're like twins, and it's all the same. And that's when you will have your enlightenment. And if you're worried about your basic desires, trust me, pile number 3, all of them will be fulfilled. Whether it's the car you want, jewelry you want, the man you want, the girl you want, whatever you want, it'll be yours. The kid you want, the career you want, the house you want, you will get it. But then what? That is a real question. Think about your desires a little deeply. And why do you even have these desires in the first place? And I'm not going to answer these questions for you. I do think this is a little, self-inquiry you need to do. And I think something beautiful will come up, because you need to understand the play of Maya over here, the play of illusion, and the play of the primordial matrix, right? What we call Prakriti in yoga. You're here to understand that. You're here to understand the nature of reality itself, so you can free yourself from it. And again, I might say this could be your last life on earth, but I don't really want to say that, because last life on earth is usually very, very painful, and it's usually a lot of karma that you have to clear, but that's what it feels like. And you got Mahakali, and she's equipped with all her weapons. So anything thrown at you right now, you will be able to handle it, and you will do a really, really good job of handling it. Pile number 3. So get ready for battle. And people keep forgetting, that Venus is the goddess of love and war. The whole pop Western concept of Venus is completely wrong, where, Venus is all a soft, coquette, girly pop things. Venus is not soft, girly pop, coquette. Venus has a bow and an arrow, and she's usually with the kings in the battlefield. And she's the goddess of war as much as she's the goddess of love. I feel you could be born in the daytime in the summer, or you could be born in the daytime, but you could have a combust Venus. Venus is very close to the sun. So Venusian things are taken over by your soul. Pile number 3, until you fulfill your soul contracts, love will be a little out of touch for you. So fulfill your soul contracts and you will get the love that you need. You could even have a combust Venus in your D9, that's what I'm seeing. And I told you, tap into that feline energy, because Leo is also the secret exaltation place of Venus. Right? We always see a goddess with a lion, and there's a reason for that. So be that goddess on the lion right now. And imagine the kind of power you need to have if you are riding a lion. Right, pile number 3. So think about it and channel that energy and really take today's day. It's a very, very special day to, connect to Ma, connect to goddess, and, surrender at her feet, because you think you know what's best for you, but you don't. We seldom know what is best for us. And I will leave you with that. Again, it's a general reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest. If you like my style of reading, do like the video, share, subscribe, comment. Please have the video for me 3 times. If you're interested in learning tarot, witchcraft, astrology, if you're interested in getting a personal reading from me, hit me up, and I'll see you guys in the next reading. Thank you.